Well, that was some week, weren't it, Andy? I mean, I'm ligged out right now on the sofa. I've got nowhere to put my mic. I might actually have to hold the microphone because
Yeah,
I think I need some time on the sofa after that itinerary.
you're looking relaxed, and you need to be. My first question was going to be, have you recovered?
No. No, I
No.
think anyone who spent a week with you and you're one of your itineraries, I've never seen it like it. Like, I'm a bit more casual, a little bit more like, we'll get it done. It's fine. You're like, come on, we need to do
Yeah,
this, do this, do this. Stop doing that. It's like,
yeah,
we've got 5 minutes to do this 15-minute job. It's like,
yeah.
wow. Like,
But
and
we
then
got
like,
it all
Andy,
done.
I'm a bit hungry. Eat quicker. Like,
We did a lot of eating on the go. I'll give you that, didn't we? We did a
oh,
lot of that, but it's
my
going to be
car,
worth
wrappers in my car. So what I was doing was I was eating whilst like driving over, and then I just chucked the wrapper on the passenger seat.
it.
And when I got back, the missus opened the door. There goes the camera again. When I got back, the missus opened the door and she looked at it. She goes, "What on earth are you doing in here? Could you not find a bin while you're out and about?" I'm like, "No, I didn't have time to find a bin."
Yeah, no, we didn't have time for a lot, did we, other than what we were doing? But like I say, well worth it, mate. It was, I'm the same as you, really. I have no idea what day it is. I really have no clue. Um, and yeah, recovering, clean the car like you, trying to work my way through all the washing. But it's all been worth it. So
We have got, and when I got back and I was reflecting on it, I think this content is so much better
yeah,
than anything we've done before.
yeah, agreed. I mean, we've now sussed to use this technology that we're using today, which
I wouldn't say
basically,
sussed.
well, I would say sus, but at least we you send me a link, I click it, and off we go. But with regards to all the other stuff, it's way beyond us, and we're glad we've got Andy now to help with that, because already the sound, the video quality, it's just a different world, isn't it? Which leaves us to do our job, really, which is what we should be left to do,
But he's using the same equipment. Like,
just using it properly.
yeah, I don't get that. Like, he sent the video through, and I'm like, how have you used the exact same equipment, but it actually looks good? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? But so this is going to be a regular thing now, Matt. Episode 3 today.
yep.
We're going to have it on a separate channel, which we will tell more about, and we'll put links in and everything else like that. So that if this is your thing, if you want to watch, me and Matt talking every week and podcasting about what's been going on in the world and our world, that'll be on a separate channel. And we'll leave the main channel for all the other stuff, the rate markers, the series, the reviews, the everything else that we do, the practice routines and all that good stuff. And hopefully, as we progress with this, Matt, we'll get some nice guests on and, some mission players. And yeah, it should be good.
And interact as well with the comments.
Yeah.
We'll read the comments. Which brings me to one I read the other day, actually.
Okay.
And I thought this would be an interesting one, because maybe what's happened here is lost in translation, or maybe it wasn't explained quite as well. It's when we was talking, when we was at Legends Bar, and
Yeah.
we was talking about not going to the PDC too quick and not
Yeah.
becoming and learning to win first.
Yeah.
I think the person who read that comment has read it as in still comparing PDC to PDC. It's not comparing the two, because the
Hang on.
point that
You said PDC to PDC. Do you mean PDC
no,
to
that's what I
PDC?
mean, comparing the
Oh,
PDC to PDC, because
right.
that's where I think the confusion is, because I
Okay.
think they think we're doing that. And we're not.
Oh,
We're
okay.
comparing the PDC, because the comment was something along the lines of, but Matt, how would that make you win in that? Well, actually, it's because you're playing in a weakened field. You're playing without the world's elite and that ability to go and win and learn to win. I'm playing part-time. I'm probably not even part-time. I barely picked my darts up, but I've made, 4 finals on the WDF tour and won 2 of them.
Yeah.
So now imagine that if I was playing full-time like I was when I first started, and I was running regularly around the 90 average mark. Yes, that's not good enough to win PDC titles. It's good enough to earn a living. It's good enough to be a professional player. It's not good enough to win titles. So again, it comes down to what you want to do. I wanted to be a professional player. Yes, winning titles would have been great, but my goal, my ambition in life was to be a professional dart player. So I achieved that. I was good enough to do that. But actually, had I have gone out and played on the WDF or the BDO circuit, I'd have probably won more titles than
Yeah,
what
you
I.
would. You would. You know, I said the same myself. I sort of quickly went from good pub player, winning a few comps, playing for county, to right, I'm going to have a year on the BDO, which it was at the time, and did pretty good. I think I ended in the 30s at the end of the year, which is a 2-year cycle. So I think I'm quarter final at the Dutch Open or something like that. Beat some big players, and like I said, playing those guys week in, week out breeded confidence in me. I was winning 3, 4, 5 games at tournaments, and so it kind of gave me a little bit when I was, you know, a bit more ready for the PDC. Look, I'm not here to slag the BDO or the WEF as it is, but it was a weaker field and still is. And I'm sorry, but that's a fact. There may be more people playing in it. There may be more people watching it. You've only got to look at the averages and everything else. Compare that to what the top 32 do on the PDC on a regular basis, and you'll see there's a difference. Okay, so going from that to the PDC is a big jump. But if you've done that already, like you say, you've got used to winning a few things. And if you go straight into that PDC now, and I'm seeing players doing it, you know, and week 1, you get, doesn't matter who you get, the average 104, you get beat. Week 2, you play absolutely out of your skin, you average 99, you still get beat. You know, after week 8 of this, you're like, what am I doing here? I don't belong here. I can't win a game.
And when you do win a game, it becomes an achievement. Oh, I've got to round 2, I've got to round 3. And you take satisfaction in mediocre. And that's my point. Where if I go into a WDF event and I lose in the quarterfinal, semi-final, I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
I'm not happy. Where if I lose in the quarterfinal of a Pro Tour, I walk out feeling brilliant. Well, I got to quarterfinal, fantastic quarterfinal.
Yeah, I got a couple of grand in the bank. Yeah,
it lowers expectations because ultimately, those 128 players, only one can win, and you've got the best players from around the world. And the best way to summarize this, if you're saying about the standard, is I was on the PDC tour for 11 years, always around about the world number 60 mark. I was always in that 60 to 70 where I'm in or out the tour card position, around that cutoff point. But yeah, I've played 10 months on the WF circuit on a part-time basis where I'm not practicing, and I'm in the top 32 already.
Yes. Yeah, you've kind of nailed it right there.
Answers
I believe the Challenge Tour is a good breeding ground. We spoke last week about Connor Scott and what he's doing. Can you remember, I know you're much better at stats than me, can you remember who got through from Challenge last year?
Last year?
Yeah, who topped the challenge last year and got a card? And I seem to remember us doing quite well, but I'm just not the stats man like you. I wondered if you might know. Put you on the spot a little bit there, I know. But I think that
was it? Scott Williams was the year before, but he ended up being top 64 on the world rankings.
Yeah, and he's done all right since.
He's doing well. I mean, a lot of players do well from the Challenge Tour. Rob Cross.
That's what I'm thinking. A year on that, you get used to winning. You're still playing good players, but you're getting used to winning.
Let's look even deeper. Michael Van Gerwen hit the ground running. He was going to be the next big thing. Did nothing. The development tour comes around. He starts winning again, and it's just the things that people don't consider. If you don't go out and play darts in this environment, you don't quite get what we're talking about here. But what I mean, and I'll try and explain it, is going into a room, into a tournament, playing round 1, getting that result. Then it's managing that time to go and do it. It's easy to get ready for one game. That's why I think when Lakeside comes round, I'm going to be dangerous. Where I'm not dangerous if you play me in Slovakia, because you play one game, then you sit around for 2-3 hours. You play one game. You say this is that the preparation to get ready for one game is so different.
We always talk about preparation. Yeah, we always talk about preparation is key, and getting yourself absolutely at peak performance, and you're ready for that one game.
And doing that 7 times a day.
Well, it's very difficult. It's very difficult.
And you need to learn that. And the only way to learn that is through experience. And if you're going up against what is now the Pro Tour, you're not going to gain that experience, which is why you need the Challenge Tour, Development Tours, and WDF. Do those. If you're doing really well, do those first. Learn to win. Learn to manage a day. I think that's a very, very important thing.
So something I was thinking about the other day, and you've kind of touched it on there with mentioning MVG. Am I right in thinking MVG did he win the World Youth, or did he not win it? Did he get
He
beat
never won
twice?
the youth. He never
That's
won
right.
the youth.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about this the other day and thinking, wow, he never actually won the World Youth. And then it got me thinking, players that I remember. James Hubbard.
Yep.
Won the World Youth. Never seen or
Qualified
sight
for the World Match Play
of him since. Aaron Monk won the World Youth, pretty sure.
Current tour card holder, but likely to lose it this year.
Yep. Last year or the year before, the two finalists, Bradley Brooks, who lost his card, and William
Joe
Baldwin.
Davis.
Was it Joe Davis?
Joe Davis.
Joe Davis. So again, there's an example of players that clearly aren't ready. They've won the World Youth, they've got on the Pro Tour, but they're not ready. And there's no other sport. Luke Littler's a phenomenon. He totally is, and you get this every now and again. But if you look at other sports like golf, for example, I know you know I'm a golfer, and you've got to go through the ranks. So you go through the ranks to get onto the Challenge Tour. You go through the Challenge Tour to get onto the European Tour, and you have to do unbelievable to then get into the majors or play in America. And it's kind of like you're 27 before you've done anything. And we're throwing these kids in at 18 and going, off you go, go and earn your fortune. And it's they're not ready.
But that's the problem. That's the problem. To start with, they do. Because you go, there's a Grand Slam, there's the World Championships, there's the UK Open. You're in 3 major titles already. So not only are you now getting a heightened expectation, because I'm in 3 majors, I'm earning the money of these events, I'm getting the attention, the sponsorship. But then when that runs out, when you're no longer a youth and you can use that system, and you've got to do it by getting into the top 16 of the Pro Tour, different game. So absolutely, I do think with that, they're given a little bit too much too soon, shall we say, a little bit with that. And yeah, we can get that. I mean, there has been great cases the other way round as well, but it does feel quite 50-50, that split.
It does. I just must mention, Matt, because you do keep going in and out of focus. That's just made me think exactly that, to tell the viewers this is going to be a podcast as well. So if you want to listen to this on your way to work, or when you're doing your 5-mile run, or whenever you want to listen to your podcast, this is going to become a podcast as well. So you don't need to watch me and Matt coming in and out of focus every 30 seconds. You can just listen to it and you won't have any of that, which will be...
We have got our equipment on order as well, haven't we? We're going to make this look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, because as you can see, I'm in different places all the time. And right now, it's not the most pleasant.
I'm in an empty house as I'm about to move. As you can see, not a lot in this room behind me. But yeah, I'm about to move. Wanted to touch very, very briefly on no names mentioned on what's going on in the darts world. I've heard another bad story, unfortunately, of somebody that looks like they've been suspended for the betting situation, which has come over. I don't want to touch on it very much, other than to say that it's sad. I can touch on this.
I can touch on this quite heavy. I can touch on this because I'm involved in products. I can tell you now, categorically, 100%, no one will ever get away with it.
No, absolutely not.
There are millions of pounds spent on integrity programs that scour through all details and data, and there is no excuse. Players nowadays, when you go onto the Pro Tour or onto any other form of darts, you have to take an integrity test. So you get an educational program where it tells you everything that is considered, where you're responsible for a bet being placed, even if you haven't done it, how you are responsible for it, how the tracking systems work. There is no way you could turn around and say, I didn't understand. You have to pass a course, and it sends you a certificate. I've done it about 17 times. You pass it, you get a certificate, and that is then logged with the authorities as well. Because if something comes up, they go, well, actually, you did your last test a year ago. How do you not know this?
And if you're daft enough to think that you can get one over on bookmakers, you don't see many bookmakers going out of business. They know what they're doing.
It's
impossible. They're tracking everything. Yeah. And one
Every
thing I
single
wanted to
pound.
mention, here's an interesting thing, a little real quick story about bookmakers, because how the world has changed. So I have a couple of bets a year, Grand National and the Open Golf. That's usually me. That's enough for me. And this year I had a little bet on the Open Golf, and the guy that I put money on, he came in fifth or something. So I had some money to collect, more than I thought actually in the end. I only had a fiver, but turns out I had about 110 quid to collect. So I go down the next day, like super excited, like, 100 quid, what am I going to do with this? And I go in the bookies and they're like, sorry, mate, we haven't got that much in the till. And I was like, what? It's a bookmaker. It's a big, but I'm not going to name the name, but a very big bookmaker. He's like, no, mate, you'll have to come at the end of the day. Nobody uses cash anymore. They're all betting online. They're using their debit card. They're all this sort of thing. And literally, they didn't have £100 to pay me. And I was like, wow, how times have changed in the world of bookmaking, But yeah, no, what you're saying there, they know what they're doing. Anybody daft enough to think you can get one over, just please don't. Please don't. So episode 3 today, by the way, third one. A new season is upon us. We're almost in September, which is, I kind of class September as the start of the season. I know the next TV tournament will be October, but it always feels like September. Everybody's going back to Super League. County's going to start again. Summer's over, although this has been the greatest summer ever for darts because it's rained every day. So people have probably been inside practicing when they'd normally be out on the beach. So yeah, thoughts for the new season? Any
The major season, isn't it, kicking in? And I think there's some real good talking points here in major season, because one of them, which I think you might actually like, to be fair, Andy.
Okay.
The return of the WalkOn girls. Have you seen that?
No.
WalkOn girls are back, but only for the seniors, world seniors. Charlotte Wood, Daniela Rolfrey, the two XP. They're doing world seniors now, and they're going to be in the events, and they're also going to be walking the players onto the stage. So WalkOn girls are back.
Now, they were doing it when I was playing, so I'd be interested. I bet they've aged better than me. But WalkOn girls are back. Oh, well, that's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. Of course it is. Of course it is. I don't think they ever wanted it to end in the first place, really. It was
they didn't know. It was more like a new world thing, wasn't it? But I think they made a valid point in one thing where I was like, why are they not having WalkOn girls, but they've got the dancers there as well? Like, that was one of the things. Although I guess that is like a performance, isn't it? So to speak.
Yeah, a bit more cheerleader-esque sort of thing, isn't it? But so first tournament then, Grand Prix?
Grand Prix is the first one on TV, and then it's
start, and always one that brings up some mad. I think I seem to recall Chizzy making the final of that once.
You do get some, he did, I think that's when it used to be in Dublin. He used to do the double in Dublin.
Dublin, yeah. But it always brings up some weird ones that people, because you kind of think as pundits talk, whatever we are, you kind of think, he's going to be the man. His doubles are amazing, and then somebody just comes along and hits everything that week. And never forget the 2 9-darters on James and Robert Thornton. Do you remember that day? James Wade and Robert Thornton, 2 9-darters in one get incredible.
2016, was it 2015?
Something like that. But on double start, I mean, the game's hard, but that's just incredible. That's really, really good. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I think we've had a long enough break, and we will have had by the time we get to that people will be really excited. But yeah, going back to the summer having been so bad, I bet people have gone, I'll put my darts away, and then they've gone, do you know what? I'll get them out again. It's raining again. It's cold. I'll get them out. So that's looking forward to that, and a new venue in Norwich, Arrowheads. Have you heard of that?
I have. That'll be open very, very soon.
Yeah, new shop, lanes in the shop.
It's actually going to be open by the time this comes out.
Possibly, yeah. Missionary involved. And really exciting, because we were only saying, weren't we, on the road last week and in our private chats, the one thing the UK doesn't have a lot of is premium dart shops. And when we go away, we go to Belgium and Holland and Germany, we see lots and lots of big shops and exciting places. So that's really good. It's almost like when a new pub opens these days, because there's that many closing down. You're like, oh, there's a new pub. Somebody's got a new idea and they're going to put this in and that in.
Do you know, we could do with a series where we sort of go around and look at these sort of places, couldn't we?
I didn't even cue that up for you, Matt. That was brilliant. Yeah, so looking forward to seeing how that pans out, and hopefully people get behind it like they should do around all the physical shops. Any that we've gone into is so important. It's so important. You can't just have a world where everything is online. Precision fittings have proved that. But the amount of guys that have come and gone, oh my God, I've bought 50 sets. I've tried them all at home. I've spent thousands of pounds and I've never got the right one. I've been here with you for an hour and now I feel happy. And that's the same.
The modern world. I used to love going to the high street. And like you go to the high street now and it's just the same, whatever town. Like I used to love like going to either Scarborough or you go into Doncaster or you go to a different town and that place had specific shop. Like they had a certain toy shop or a game shop or this shop. Like you could go, and now it's just chains of the same. Well, don't matter what city centre you go to the shopping centre, it's all the same places.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
No, I'm not. Trying to find an independent, like you say, unique store that you're going to search out for just doesn't really exist anymore, does it? But and talking of stores, where was I the other day? I don't even know what day it is. I nipped into a Waterstones the other day and needed a new book. I'm not one of these that has a bookcase full. I just like to buy a book, read it, pass it on, and buy another. And I thought, I wonder if there's any darts books about. And there isn't. That's the answer to that question. There really isn't.
Right one.
I kind of thought, why? What? Football, golf, cricket. There's like hundreds. Darts. I don't know why.
Right one, won't we, Andy?
Well, mate,
Cornwall's darts diaries.
So, for me, it'd have to be travels on the road because I'm sure, like you, that some of the stories we could tell, they might not all be printable, but it would be amazing. But I did think it's about time somebody wrote a new darts book. But I'm just kind of thinking. I know Phil wrote one, but he's like 20 years old now. He could do one now in retirement, or I know.
Saying that, who reads? Like, I might be getting hammered now in the comments section.
Reads people. What do you mean?
I don't even read like important things. Like,
you don't even read your emails. That's what you mean. No. You don't even read the instruction manuals for anything that you buy. You don't. No. You turn up with 3 microphones and go, I've got new microphones, Andy. And I'm like, well, have you ready if you need an adapter or anything? No, they'll be fine. Of course they're not. You need an adapter. So I know that you don't read absolutely anything, Matt. I know that. But people
I send my stuff to either my agent and I say, look, can you read that and just tell me the key points? Like, I don't read anything, and it's awful. But the thing is, right, this is just my attention span. It doesn't work because what I do is I start reading it. I go, and then I'll just go, and I'll just try and pick out like the key moments. Like I just cannot physically sit and read something. Like I start reading it and then I'll just go and like just scan it.
It's terrible. So maybe for you, a book, a darts book, but in podcast form, so you could just listen to it. Then you don't actually.
Kind of what we're doing now. We've already done it. There you go. We've solved the problem.
Audio books. That's what they're called, isn't it? On Kindle. Yeah, audio or other devices. I think, audio books. So, that's something. Anyway, I've seen the news, big news this morning. You read the news this morning? Oasis. No. Oasis.
Oh, I saw that. Yep.
You saw that? See, I've seen it. Reforming for a tour. That's huge. I can't even say I'm a massive Oasis fan, but it feels now like if you don't go to that, you've missed a chance. There's not going to be another chance. It almost feels like I wish I'd been old enough to go and see the Beatles or Elvis or somebody. That would have been incredible. You kind of remember.
I've just got to tell you quickly to stop crying your heart out here because imagine what the price is going to be. Yeah, you like that.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to be at the very back to be able to afford it. Yeah, but I did think, wow, that's something that's gonna excite. I've got lots of friends that are mad for that kind of music. So,
I've
but
seen
yeah,
the
you
estimated ticket price. The cheapest ones are
go
expected
on.
to be £300.
No, the cheapest. Wow, that's a different world now, isn't it? I remember when you could do a concert for 20 quid, 20 quid at the back, 50 quid at the front. That's amazing. Yeah. So, I mean, I expect that. I expect it's going to be big, but, and I don't think they've announced yet when they're coming out or anything. So hopefully people aren't watching this and going, right, where can I get the tickets? I don't think they're out yet. I don't think they're
31st of August, I believe they're out.
Oh, that's soon. That's this week,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah, of course it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
There's actually a dart player who's in an Oasis tribute band. So there's a guy who came to the Super Series not long ago called Paul Lewis,
Right.
who lives in Mansfield, and he's in an Oasis tribute band, him and his friend, and they're called Oasis.
Oasis.
You're going to be looking it up now, a bit of Oasis.
Yeah, I'm going to have a look and see if I can find it on YouTube or something, see if I can see if they're any good. Well, it'd be good for them, because if Oasis is in the news, they're going to get a load of bookings. Yeah, you might not need to play darts anymore. You might just do the band. I think hopefully
I
your
want
darts.
to bring up a topic.
Go on.
And I want to do topics which are very sort of things that people can join in with. A topic of which a discussion that we can have that other people can go, do you know what? I want to put my opinion in on that as well. I want to put my 2 cents in on that state. We discussed last week about players, like Connor Scott, for example.
Yep.
Top 5 players right now who do not have a tour card.
Oh, God.
I think 2 of them are nailed on. 2 are absolutely nailed on. We don't even have to discuss 2 of them. Connor Scott, Wesley Plazier. If they're not in your top 5, you don't know darts.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
So I think we're only talking about top 3, really, because 2 of them are already nailed on. So I think people we need to consider in this are people like Andy Bolton, Steve West, Jimmy Van Ski. I'm even going to chuck Bo Greaves in there as a consideration here.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Can I say Adrian Lewis?
He's got one. He's got a tour card.
Has he still got one?
Yeah, he's got one till the end of the year. Yeah, so his card runs out at the end of the year. So until sort of January, Adrian Lewis is still a card holder.
Yeah, Steve West is a really good shout. Known Steve a long time, and his brother Tony, and Tony was always the better player. And then Steve almost had a purple patch, didn't he, for about 3 years?
Yeah, beat Taylor at the Grand Prix.
Really, he was like, I'm sure he was pushing top 20.
Oh, he's doing really well, yeah.
And then it was like mad for 3 years, and he had 9 darts on TV and looked a world beater, and then disappeared again. So I don't know whether I haven't seen him for a while. I don't know whether there was other things involved. We all know that lots of things in life, illnesses, families, things can make things go.
Now the most successful player at Modus won the most weeks, which they aren't easy to win those weeks. And he's won the most weeks out of anybody. So
I would love to see Bo week in, week out. I would. Yeah. I thought that about Fallon at the time, because she's got her A game is right up there with any of the guys. I just don't think her B game's strong enough. But Bo seems to hit those 100 averages so regular. But she's openly said she's not interested, hasn't she?
She has, yeah. She's not right now. She hasn't said not just right now. She doesn't feel ready.
She's young, isn't she? So
yeah. Doing well on the Dev Tour when she's been playing that. She's in the top 10 on the Dev Tour. Women's match play winner. She'll be at the Grand Slam. Probably be at Lakeside, not Ali Pally. But you got any others you want to chuck in the old mixer?
So I was trying to think of who lost their card last year.
I mean, Cam Crabtree's got to be debatable on there. Reached a couple of finals now. I think he had a semi-final as well now on the Pro Tour. So he's certainly someone to consider. Andreas Harrison, playing very good darts at the minute. Dangerous player. from Sweden.
Don't know him. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Dennis Nielsen, who made the semis of the World Championship last year, he's a hard guy to beat.
Leonard Gates, Alex Spellman from over in America.
Jeff Smith, I don't think has a tour card.
Yeah, Jeff Smith, he doesn't have a tour card, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it is a question to the people that are watching this. Who are your top 5 players without a tour card? Get down in the comment section and let us know.
Who are we missing?
If any of you put Plazier and Connor Scott in your top 5, we're just going to block you.
Yeah, they have to be there, don't they? But no, that's a really good question, Mark. That is, and that is open for debate because there will be some we've missed there. There will be some we've missed and next year could be. Is Mervyn King going to keep his card?
Mervyn King looks like he's going to lose it. Steve Beaton's giving it up. Ian White could lose it. Mensah Suljovic could lose it.
Andy Bolton, who you mentioned, has already not. He must have lost it last year then, because he had one. Oh, phone going now. Is that the dog ringing?
That's Philippa Bars.
You know, we said about preparation. How about preparation for the podcast?
Well,
I'll send you a list. Make sure the dogs have a walk.
There's normally some interesting things to discuss. So there's probably going to be something new on the podcast next week once I spoke to Philippa.
I'm going to send you a list. Make sure the dog's had a walk and is out. Make sure my camera is zoomed in on me. Make sure I've got something to put the microphone on, that I don't have to sit here holding it. Keep my knees out of shot. But then again, you won't read it. So
I did take the name tags off the screen.
You did.
The name tags needed to come off the screen. They're off. So, we can't have everything.
No, we can't have everything. But anything else you want to talk about this week?
I'll tell you what. I'm going to pose a thought-provoking question for you.
All right.
Let's first start off with ignore the World Championships. Yeah. If you could win any title outside of the Alexandra Palace, which one are you going for and why? And while Andy's thinking about this, you could be typing your answer in the comment section as well, because Andy's taking...
Yeah, and to be fair, one's come straight in my mind, and I'm now trying to process why that came straight in my mind. And is it the right answer? So you should always go you should always go with what your first thought is. My thought was Grand Slam.
Oh.
Because of the round robin format, then the knockout format. It's a long event. Cream of the crop comes and wins that. My favourite ever Grand Slam was Scott Waits winning it. Scott was still a BDO player at the time. In fact, there's a good shout. Scott got a tour card these days.
Scott Waits.
Don't know. Anyway, I'm famously remembering winning. It was around the time I'd done the BDO, so I was good friends with Scott. And that was just the greatest Grand Slam ever. It was just phenomenal. I think it made that event.
See, I've got 2, and that's not one of them.
Wow.
World Match Play.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Blackpool,
it's in my hometown.
Iconic, amazing venue, history, the lot. And the other one's the UK Open.
Weirdly, that's what I thought you were going to pick.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go for that.
Because it's probably the hardest event on the calendar to win.
But I don't think it is. I absolutely don't think it is. And I'll tell you for why. You can get good draws the whole way through. All the seeds get knocked out. You can get to the final and not even play a seed. Now, I'm not going to diss winners because we've never got even close. But Andrew Gilden winning it that year, I know he beat some of the top players, but it's the one event where you don't have to be MVG, Luke Humphries, Luke Littler to win it. They can all beat themselves.
But the timing of it. Now, I've had deep runs in that event before. I played in it, 10, 11 times. I've had some deep runs. And I can tell you it's one of the hardest things to do. So, for example, one year I played round 3. So I did round 2, round 3 on the Friday afternoon. I finished my game. I then looked at the time. It was like 5 o'clock or something. The draw still hadn't been done. So I went into the main arena to watch the draw. So we sit and we watch the draw come out. I think I'd drawn John Henderson. So the draws come out. I've got John Henderson in round 4. The draw had been complete nearly 6 o'clock. Then they've got to work out what board people are on and what order you're going to play in. So I'm now thinking, do I eat? Do I not? Do I not? And then the hard thing is, because it runs to broadcast, because it has to run to broadcast, it can't run to anything else. You could be on at 7 o'clock, or you could be on at 10.
Yeah.
And you don't know at 6 o'clock if you're going to be on in an hour. So you're like, do I go back on the practice board and get ready for this game? Do I go home and get something to eat? What do I do? So you sit around and wait for that schedule to come out. And I was actually on first. So at 6:15, I found out I was on at 7. So I had to run back to the practice room and start getting ready for my next game. But if I was on at 10 o'clock, then it's like, right, okay, well, now I'll go get some food and then I can casually go back to the practice room and have 2 hours prep. So your prep is disturbed all the way through. It is. And that's why it's so hard. Well, actually, it's technically not the same for everyone, because some of those players in round 4 come in at round 4. So 32 players, so half the field had to qualify through the system. Let's say I did, half them had to do the other. The other thing is half the field are on in the early session, half of them coming on late. So with that, like, let's say I got through, because I got through last on my board. If I got through first on my board, I would have been done, let's say, 2-3 hours earlier. So I could have left the venue, gone, got some food or whatever, and then just got. So it really does depend on the scheduling. I remember playing in the old UK Open at the Reebok Stadium, Bolton, and again, the issue with that was I was last game on, so I didn't get back to my hotel till 1 o'clock. I was first game on the next day, so that's where it becomes really hard and really tricky sometimes to try and get that time.
So you've led me into a perfect finish to this week's podcast, Matt. UK Open is the only TV tournament I ever played in on the PDC. As you know, I only had a tour card for 6 months before I gave it back. So that's the question for our viewers: who beat me on stage?
Whoever you drew first round, I'd guess.
Yeah, anybody. Yeah, no, and he doesn't have a tour card now, but did have. So that's the question. We'll leave it at that one for now, for this week. But yeah. So you say UK Open, I say Grand Slam. Get in the comments. Which one would you like to win?
Yeah, and it's now been about 40 minutes or so. I've had enough of you again.
Yeah, that's it. I've got to go. That's enough, Matt. I've had a week with you, now another 40 minutes. So
too much.
So we'll see you next week.